to type in, but for some of you, it could cause your predictions to be completely off, giving you negative numbers, giving you stuff that's just completely unreasonable. So it's really important that you do this, and it will pay off in the long run. Okay, so looking at my first number there, I'm going to type my equals, and then I have to move the decimal over 4 places for this one, the plus 04 at the end. So 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, and my decimal goes after the 4 there. Then I type the rest of my numbers. Okay, and now I have to take that number times x, so I need to do the asterisk, and this is where I input the years, so I need to click on my year cell. Looking back at my equation, now I have a minus, and then that number where I have to move the decimal over 8 places. So okay, so let me just double check that here. Okay, perfect. Type the rest of the numbers. And I'm done with that equation. Click and drag. Okay, perfect. Done with the linear population prediction. Now I need to go down here and do the exponential population prediction. Okay, again I have that E, double click, scientific, 15 decimal places. Again, I'm going to make my chart bigger and make the font on this bigger. Let's move it on the chart for now, even though that's not the best place. It's easier to read it there. Okay. So now I have 1.00363, etc. e to the negative 08 or 08. So that means to the left 8 places, which means I'm going to have a decimal with 7 zeros after it. And then I type the rest of my numbers. Okay, now I have to take that number times the number e, that lowercase e there, right here, and the equation represents the number e. So asterisk for times, and then 2.71828. That's what e is. Okay, so anytime you see a lowercase e, you're going to just put 2.71828. And then I need to type the stuff in the exponent, which means I need the caret symbol, which is above the 6, and then parentheses, because I have to show that all of that stuff that's small there in the exponent, I have to show Excel that that's all in the exponent. And now this stuff in the exponent here is negative 02, which means I have to move the decimal to the left too. So I'm going to have 1 0 in front of the number, and then I start typing the rest. Okay, and then at the end there is an x, so I'm taking this number times x, and x is years again in this case. So end parenthesis, hit enter, and drag the formula across. Okay, so now I'm going to take this data and I'm going to copy Command C and go to my case study correlation chart. And I want to make sure that I right click and paste special. Then I'm going to do the same for my exponential predictions. Okay, so now I'm going to stay on this sheet here and I want to do my linear GDP prediction. Okay, so both times we're going to use this chart here with this equation. Make sure you're using the same country for the population and on the correlation sheet. So Cuba was the country. I'm focusing on this equation, and there is no E this time. Okay, so I don't have to double click this and do the scientific in 15 decimal places, but if you did have an E, that's what you should be doing right now. So I'm going to continue on typing this formula in. I'm going to hit equals 0.0005, and then we're taking that number times x, which this time, if you look at our graph, our x is population there. So I'm going to click on my population cell and then type in the rest of the formula, which is plus 1610.4. And that's all. Hit enter and drag it across. Okay? So that's my GDP prediction for using the linear model. Now I'm going to use my exponential model to do the GDP prediction. So I'm actually going to be using this same exact formula and my exponential population predictions to figure out the GDP. So type in the formula 0.0005 asterisk population and then plus 1610.4. Okay, so all I did was type in the formula, except this time I clicked this population cell, my exponential one, then you hit enter and you click and drag. Okay, that's all we had to do on this sheet. Now we want to copy the years and the GDP prediction to our case study GDP data. So I want to show you a quick trick here. Right now, if I copy the years and copy the GDP, there's a row in between them. But when I paste it, I can make it so that they're right next to each other, which is what we want. So we can do this all in one step. I can hit click years, hold down command, and then select the GDP. So you can see how they're both lightly colored in blue. Then hit command C and go to your case study variable chart. My variable is GDP, yours might be HIV, it might be broadband users, whatever variable you chose to study. And now I'm going to highlight these two rows so that way I can tell Excel that I want these two things to be copied right next to each other, or pasted, I mean. And you have to right click, do paste special. Honestly, if you aren't sure, you use paste special. Okay? Go back to your case study correlation chart, and now I want to get my exponential prediction, and I'm going to do the same thing. Click the years, hold down command, and click exponential, command C. I'm going to leave some space for a graph there, and I forgot to paste special. Okay, there we go. And now what I want to do is